Hi there everyone, it's me again Tommy64. Today I'm going to do another iPhone review. At this point I've pretty much done like 3 iOS games reviews now. And we're now doing another classic iOS game review. The game we'll be talking about today is Asphalt 5. So what does Asphalt 5 try to do? Well, that's exactly what we're going to do today. Released back in 2009 for the iPhone and 2010 later for Android. Asphalt 5 was basically, according to most people, I saw there was one person who described this to be a Burnout 2 clone, which maybe I will probably agree, or probably even a Burnout normal clone. Now, what does this game try to do? Is it meant to be a normal kart racer, a normal iPhone game where you drive full throttle with your own vehicle? Let's find out. So, let's go over some history on this game. It, of course, was released back in 2009 and in 2010 for Android. Well, yeah. So, it was actually made by Gameloft, which this was one of the older titles. Nowadays, you probably know Gameloft for the Asphalt series and a lot of other franchises that are just nowadays terrible. But this was one of the older games they made. So, what does this game try to do? If you ask me, it's actually an interesting story. Well, not really, actually. So, it was released on iOS back in 2009, Android, well, for in 2010, and for Symbian phones in 2011. So, it came out a lot, those. So, yeah. Now, first, we're going to go into the controls. Of course, this is an iOS game, so there is no button input. Unless you were using the Touch HLE emulator. Because currently, as you can see, I'm running this game on the Touch HLE emulator. Now, of course, you're probably thinking you can't even just run the Android version with a virtual machine. But because I'm not really that advanced with virtual machines, I just go for the simple iOS simulator. So, yeah. Now, the controls here are simple. Depending on your setup, here's how to do it. If you're doing your gyroscope on your phone, basically, you can hold the accelerate button to accelerate your vehicle, the brake button to, of course, brake your vehicle, to tilt your phone, in this case, to actually steer the car. If you're using the steering wheel type input, of course, you swipe the steering wheel left or right to turn your car. You also use the nitrous button if you have any nitrous or boost that you get that you can actually collect while in this game. There's also mostly a brake button, of course. Tap the screen is where you tap any direction of the screen to make the car turn. Also, of course, you as well. I might put this way. Of course, you also need to you get brake and nitrous. In terms of gameplay, let's go over them. You have normal race, which is of course your normal race. Time trial, where you need to complete basically 3 laps before the timer runs out. Versus, or like face off as I like to call it, is where you verse another rival basically. Cop chase is where you have to take down a bunch of rivals before you actually have to get the minimum and before the timer runs out. Something like road rage, which you probably do in Burnout. And yeah, there's also mostly like cop chases where you have to survive for 3 laps before, because if you get busted 5 times, you basically lose. So yeah. And also there's a few like drifting where you have to collect as much drifts as possible, drift points, before eventually your timer runs out or you get to the last lap. And yeah, there's a lot about this game. There's also the environment. The environment does not look bad. For a game from 2009, not bad. The graphics is not bad overall, it's a decent one. Although the Android version does have a higher resolution, but the iOS version, it still keeps up along with its Android counterpart. The Symbian version is, of course, a Symbian version. So yeah, this game is overall good. I didn't really go into ratings on this game, but now it's finally the time on would I recommend this game. Let's go over it. Describing on what I said, I would probably recommend this game, but much like the Ferrari GT Evolution one, I'm sure Google would say it's still not worth getting this game because there's far way better iOS games. But if you're a old iOS enthusiast who likes old iOS games, I would recommend this game. And if you're an old Android or Symbian enthusiast, so yeah, there's nothing really I can add on top of this game. But if you enjoyed this review on me doing Asphalt 5 for iOS, hope you enjoyed this video. Make sure to like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Goodbye.